What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Six Figure Vet Podcast, where we share the success stories of veterans that have successfully unlaced the boots. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on all streaming platforms and give us a follow on the gram at the Six Figure Vet. Let's go.
I'm a six-figure vet, self-made, self-built, didn't stop, dedicated, stay down till I came up, that's patience. Dreaming to goals to plans to execution.
Now, y'all, today we got a super special guest, a husband, okay? A Black father, Navy veteran, landlord, business owner, student, and one of my personal closest friends, Mr. Gregory Thompson, y'all. What's up, Greg? How you feeling?
What's going on? I'm feeling good. How about you?
I am doing pretty swell today, my boy. Pretty swell today. So, like I said it before, this podcast is about we just here to chop it up and get some insight on your story. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the people know who you are and a little bit about your history.
Well, I am originally from Maryland. I now live in Texas. I joined the military back in 2013. I decided to leave the military after 8 years. And after doing so, everything just kind of took off and went in the right direction. I ended up getting my first rental property. I opened a vending business that is doing really well, and that we're actually looking to sell pretty soon and make a very good profit over what we spent on it. So, got married, had two kids. Just been enjoying life for real.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. So, I know you've acquired a lot of success since being out the military, but what made you join the Navy? What made you join the military in the first place?
So it's actually really funny. I was actually one of those people that were like, I never joined the military. Like I'm not doing that. But I would say back in I was like 25. I got laid off from a job. I had to move back in with my parents. Things weren't really going well. Um, I ended up getting arrested.
What the hell?
Yeah, I've been arrested. Just hanging
Not you a veteran thug.
out. Nah, I was just running with the wrong people or running with certain type of people, and then I ended up getting arrested, and I just looked at myself and was like, my life is going in the wrong direction. I need to change. I actually went to the army first, and the army wouldn't take me.
Yo, bro, you know what's crazy? Not to cut you off, but I feel like that's a lot of our stories. Like, none of us was like, I just want to join the Navy. None of us was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the Navy. We all ventured to other branches first and then was like, nah. And the Navy was kind of like our backup plan.
Yeah, it's really. I think everyone's first stop is Air Force, and then
Definitely.
you realize how hard it is to get in the Air Force. And I was like, I just bypassed the Marines. I was like, I'm not doing that. To the Army, and the Army said no. So I walked next door to the Navy office, and they said, "We'll take you," and the rest is history.
Yo, how you get turned down by the Army? I thought they take anybody. No offense to my Army people out there, because I know I'm going to have some Army vets come on here.
Truth be told, so I had it was my arrest. I think I had my second or third arrest. No, it was my second, and they just said no. And I was like, wow, that's crazy because I thought they were misdemeanors. It wasn't like a felony or nothing.
Not you going to jail back to back.
Yeah, I actually got arrested while waiting to get into the Navy.
Great, what was you doing? I see y'all. That's that Mo County, DC, PG County type stuff. Okay, they thugs out there for real. Okay, they
Yeah,
thugs for real.
I almost messed that opportunity up. They sent me to see a psychiatrist and to make sure I wasn't like messed up in the head. And they said, "It's your last chance." And what ended up happening was I was supposed to wait a year to go, but somebody stopped showing up to the DEP program. All the Navy people know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his job opened up because he stopped coming. They were like, "Hey, do you want to if you want to take his job, but you leave in 4 months?" And I was like, "Listen, if I stay here for a year, I'm not gonna make it. So it's not. Hey, I'm leaving in 4 months." And that's how it happened.
And for all of y'all that don't know what DEP is the delayed entry program. So it's basically the waiting period from the time that you swear in to the time that you actually leave and go to the boot camp. So you like meet like every other weekend or like once a month or something like that. and you work out, you study up on like military terms. I don't know if other branches call it depth as well, but yeah, it's basically like a preparation phase before like you go to boot camp. That's what DEP is, delayed entry program. So let me get this straight, because so did your job switch? Like, so did you have one job and because your date got moved up, you had to end up getting another job? Like, is that what happened?
So, because of the arrest, and I hate to keep bringing it up because it's not something to brag about. You know what I mean? It's just something that happened to me.
Right.
But it limited my job selection.
Okay.
So I was technically going in undesignated, or not technically, I was going in undesignated, and so I didn't have a job. But the guy who stopped coming, he was an SH.
Okay.
So when he stopped coming, they was like, "Hey, we can give you his job, but hey, you're leaving in 4 months." So I took his job and left.
So what was your job while you were serving in the military?
So I was an SH. They now are called RS, or retail specialist. So we dealt with all the services and on the ship. So we did like ship store, barbershop, laundry, the coffee stand, hotel services, like to staterooms where people slept. We just basically kept everything running. It's a supply job. We just kept everything running. It's the job to me. There's a funny story because I didn't know what an SH was when I took the job. I didn't know what an SH was till I hit the ship. And when I hit the ship, I was kind of upset because I didn't have a college education at the time, and so I worked a lot of retail jobs and beforehand, and I was like, it just felt to me like life was pushing me, like saying, "Hey, this is all you can ever be. This is what you're good enough to be." Um, so when I joined the Navy, thinking I got away from it, and then to find out, like, man, I got a retail job in the Navy, and it just kind of messed me up for a second. But the lifestyle of a SH, so it worked out,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
happy. I was,
So
and it was,
y'all, what he means by the lifestyle of the SH, so like he said before, the SH is like do the barbershop, they handle like the ship store on all the ships. Them the folks you want to be plugged in with, okay? So they got access to basically when you are on deployment, they got access to everything you need, all the snacks. You want to look fresh, you want to look crisp, you really can't wear regular clothes. So to kind of stunt a little bit, you want to have the SH pressure coveralls, that make you creme de la creme on the ship, So he was that rate. So he just was like the plug. Like anybody in supply, just know like that's the plug. They are the plug. So they work hard, but their lifestyle is really, really, really nice because there are benefits with being a plug. That's what he mean
yeah.
about being a SH. So you in the military, right? You in the military. You got this retail job, doing what you do. What was the turning point? Because it sounds like the military was like almost like a saving grace for you because you had some trouble running in with the law, whatever, and you were able to join the military, and now you're on the straight and narrow, you getting a check, everything's going good. So what made you be like, all right, bro, like I'm about to get out, like I'm about to go ahead and transition out and get out of the military? What made you make that decision?
My daughter. Um, so after my noun wife, after we weren't married at the time, but we had my daughter, and I think when she was 4 months, I left for deployment. And then we were underway, and I almost missed her birth. And then my wife, she always said like she waited for you. So like the day I got back, the day we hit port, she went into labor that night.
Oh, wow.
So after my daughter was born, we went on deployment. I came back. She was 11 months. Girl didn't want nothing to do with me. She
Oh
ain't know
my
who I
gosh.
was. I swear, she disliked me. She didn't. She was like, I don't know this person.
Heartbreaking.
Very heartbreaking. And I was just like, man, I spent a lot of time building our relationship. And we love each other to death now. And it's just like at that time, I was like, man, I don't want to keep leaving. I can't do it. And then I think the moment where it was really solidified was when I went to shore duty. And I was expecting to have a great shore duty and just go home every night. And they sent me on the Comfort. And
Mm-hmm.
it was during COVID. And when I hit that ship, I said, I'm getting out. I was like, I couldn't do it no more. I didn't like it. I was just like, it's I don't know. I was just done. And from that point, I just never looked back. I never changed my mind. I told everybody on board, I said, I'm done after this. I said, I can't even go to shore duty and be on shore. I'm still getting deployed. So I was just like, I'm good on it.
Making the decision to get out, what made you segue into entrepreneurship? Because a lot of people that get out, especially veterans, they encourage us to go the federal government route. Try to get a Fed job, try to get a Fed job. It's easy for you to get a Fed job because you're prior military. What made you be like, nah, I'm going to try entrepreneurship? What made you choose entrepreneurship over picking up another 9 to 5?
So there's a couple things, and I think you've experienced it. I've heard a lot of different people say the same thing. After you've been taking orders for 8 years, you're like, I don't want another boss. I don't want a boss. I really don't. I don't want to go work for no one else. I joined the military thinking this was going to be my last job. I was going to retire. But what made me choose entrepreneurship was I was 100. I got out and I became 100% disabled veteran. So
He got that shmoney, y'all. I just
yes.
wanna. He got
So
that shmoney.
once I got that, and then I sat around for like another year or two, because my wife was still in, so we were living on base. I was collecting my check. She was still going to work. And then we did when she decided to get out. She ended up getting 100% as well. So now we were financially like we were good. We could pay our bills. We didn't even have to work. So I said, well, if I don't have to work a job, why do it? So I just decided, okay, well, everything that I did in the Navy is a business on the outside. Like I said, we did ship store. You can get a store. I did barbershop. You could open a barbershop. I did laundry. You could buy a laundromat. But I think the easiest route was the vending machines. So we left Maryland or DC. We hit Texas, and I found a lady who was selling her entire vending route. She wanted like 55,000 for it, but we got her down to about 30.
Wow, that's a big discount.
Yeah, so we ended up purchasing the vending route, and I've just been doing that ever since.
Amazing. So a lot of people don't know, and I did a little research on you. Um, Back when Greg was at his first command, you dabbled in entrepreneurship while you were in the military as well in Washington State, right?
Yes, I did. I actually did my very first business I ever opened. It taught me a lot. I closed it. I'm not gonna say unfortunately, because I learned a lot from it. I had a company called "You Junk It, We Dump It," and I bought a pickup truck, and I started going around getting jobs, just hauling stuff away from people's houses. It taught me how to open a business, how to get a LLC. Um, it taught me number one that I didn't want to do anything too laborish, which is probably the reason why I closed it. But it just taught me the process, and it got rid of the fear that I think a lot of people struggle with when they look at becoming an entrepreneur and they don't know how to do something. It's like once you learn it, you know it. So now I could go open 5 different companies if I wanted, and it wouldn't scare me at all because I know the process and I know how to do it.
Yo, that's dope. That's so dope. And to segue back into, you saying about your vending machine business, I remember us having a conversation And I think this was the dopest, most inspirational thing about your story of entrepreneurship, to me at least. We were talking one day, and you told me, you was like, because y'all, me and Greg, like we've been locked in for years. Okay, this is the person that I go to, and we just like literally like since this is before we got out the military. This is like when we were living probably paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out like what was gonna be next. We would literally sit for hours and just talk about like, bro, we gonna do this and we gonna do that, and one day we
Yeah.
gonna be living like this, and like we would just feed into each other and pour into each other and talk business, and just kind of like manifest the lives that we're living today. And I remember one of those conversations, I think you were already in Texas or you were about to leave to go to Texas. It was right when you bought the vending machine route, and you was like, yo, everything that every job that I did for a rate for being an SH, I'm gonna turn that into a business, Jalen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you like, I'm gonna open it. I got my vending machine business. I already know how to cut hair. We gonna do this, we gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because being a SH on the ship, y'all, is you do a lot of different jobs. Like your job might say this, but like Greg mentioned, like he was a SH, but he cut hair and he worked at the ship store and he did hotel services. All of those things fell under this one umbrella within this one job. And he straight up told me, he was like, I'm gonna get money in the civilian world off of everything that they told me. And to see that come into fruition, it is just like so like inspirational.
Yeah, because a lot of people would complain. In the rate, they would go,
Cause it sucks when you in it sometimes.
yeah, it does. But they were all like, "Ah, what I'm gonna do when I get out? Work at Walmart?" Like they would say stuff like that, and I used
Yep.
to be like, everything we do is a legit business. Like you could really make money, and they just, I guess they just didn't have that same mindset. Like they just looked at it like, I'm gonna get out and work at Target. And I'm just like, okay, well, have fun.
I remember having conversations with like chiefs, which are like E7s, and they would be leaving these like big wig or top heavy meetings, and they would be like, they don't know what they gonna do with the SHs. Like, because so the thing that I do like about the Navy, y'all. So when you joined the military, when you joined the Navy, I remember when they presented me with my job as a logistics specialist, they gave me a paper and basically broke down what that job could convert to in the civilian world. So they was like, okay, a logistics specialist, you can go into supply chain management. You can work for corporate Walmart or Target, or, just do these different types of things. 18 wheelers and those type of things. So I remember that these type heavy, high ranking people would be literally like, we don't know what we gonna do with the SHs. Like we don't know what their job can convert over to. And I feel like, yes, the military has its downfalls or whatever, but they were trying to be proactive with making sure that when the time came, because there's no if about it, you got to get out, that the job that you're working in could convert over to. And the SHs, which is the job that Greg had and was in, they was lost for a while there. Like we don't know we don't know how these people could get out and like we don't know what they could do. It's kind of like being infantry in the army. Like you can't get out and just start shooting people. Like what like what is your job? Like how is your job important,
They
or how
tell them
could
just
it be
stay in.
valuable?
Just tell them just
Yes.
stay in. Do the 20.
Do your 20, get your retirement, because they didn't know. And that's what makes Greg's story so unique and so inspirational, because you got people that Greg got out as an E4.
Yeah.
Greg got out as an E4, and you had people that was E7s, E8s, O2s, O3s, O4s, dumbfounded about how the people within this rate could be successful when they got out. And bro broke the Da Vinci Code. He was like, I'm just gonna open up businesses doing what y'all taught me to do, and he's did it, and he's been able to acquire six figures doing so. So
Yeah.
that's
Speaking of the E7, shout out to my old LPO Walker. He actually called me randomly out of the blue, because I guess we stayed in touch, and he would see me on Facebook and stuff I was doing, and he called me up and it was like, bro, I just want to give you your flowers. And that meant the world. That meant so much to me. Like, he just called me. It was just
I'm
like,
gonna
I just
insert some sad music here on the podcast.
nah, don't do that. He gonna clown me. But yeah, no, he just called me up and just gave me my flowers. He was just like, bro, you're doing your thing. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Like, I know that I'm kind of stressing that, but y'all, they was really lost. Like, we don't know what we finna have these motherfuckers do. Like, we don't know how to tell them to get out and be successful with the job that they've been doing. Like, we don't want to tell them to go work at Walmart. You know, we don't want to tell them to
Yeah, for real.
do that. We don't want to tell them, but that's literally all we've trained them to do, essentially. Right? That's all we've trained them to do. And I would get SHs or RSs to come to me like, yo, here's my resume. And I'm looking like, ugh, what is this? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, it would just be very difficult. Like, almost 9 times out of 10, they had to segue into a new career field in order to make the type of money that they wanted to make. Because you coming out the military as an E6 or E5, making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, and your only experience is in, working for a ship store or, hotel services. You're not going to see that amount of money on the outside doing those same things that you were doing.
Yeah, and I paid for someone to do my resume, and I was still looking at it like, is this all I could put on here? I'm like, ugh. I'm like, yeah, nah, it's a bad look.
Yeah. And so for you to be like, nah, I'm gonna just be an entrepreneur shit. I'm gonna just do entrepreneur, what was the hardest thing you faced when you made the decision like, yo, I'm gonna get out? Like, what was some of the uphill battles that came your way when you made the decision? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't like a smooth process. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get out and start these businesses, and then you woke up and you was a 6-figure veteran. Take me on that journey.
Starting from just even getting out, I mean, the Navy, I don't want to say the Navy, but certain people in the Navy, I'm not going to say the Navy as a whole. Certain people in the Navy, they make you feel like if you leave, you're going to be an absolute failure. So you don't have a lot of people to talk to, which is why I'm glad that you went into life coaching and helping veterans get out, because we really don't have a space to talk to anybody. So when we try to get out, people are just super negative. It's just like, you're going to be a failure. Why you want to get out? There's no jobs out there. They just stay in, do your 20 years. And that was the first real challenge, is just dealing with the negative thoughts and the negative comments, and just having to turn it all off. And I just stopped talking to people. I stopped talking to people. I stopped telling people what I was going to do, and I just started doing. And I figured my results will speak for itself. Because people put all that negative energy on you, and it's just it can really take you down.
Yeah.
I think the next hardest thing was my first rental property. Well, I bought my first house, and I was living in it at the time. But I had always bought it to be an investment property, and like I said, going through situations teaches you a lot. And real estate is not, my journey wasn't easy from the start. So I bought my first house, and this is the first thing I've learned. I didn't know anything about a disclosure agreement. So I bought the house, and probably within, I think it was 10 months, right at the end, right at the cusp of the year mark, the basement flooded, and ended up finding out that the house had a water issue. So now I'm distraught, because I'm like, I just bought this house. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't get rid of it. It's got a water issue. I don't have any money to get this thing fixed. I'm ruined. Like, I started feeling like, man, like I'm about to really be a failure. And I went around and talked to people, and everyone was like, no one could have provided any advice. And I ran into one guy, and the one guy told me, he was like, well, did you look at your disclosure agreement? I'm like, what's that? He's like, well, your disclosure agreement. And he broke it all down. He was like, when you have someone inspect your house, um, there's something called a latent defect, where it's something that can't be seen by an initial inspection. If the house had a water issue, and that's something that he would have had to disclose because he put a sump pump in the house, which means that the house wasn't built with a sump pump, which means that he knew it was a water issue. So for that reason, he was supposed to disclose that. So if he didn't
Yeah.
disclose it, it makes him liable for it. So
Mm.
I called the guy and I'm like, hey, bro, like, and I bluffed. I was like, bro, I don't want to have to take you to court. I just want to do this the right way and settle it between me and you. But I get a lawyer involved. I'm bluffing. I didn't have nothing. I ain't have a dime. And I was like, and he hung up, called his business partner, and he called me back. And the next day, his crew showed up, tore the basement up, fixed exactly what was wrong because they knew what was wrong, and I didn't have to come out of pocket for it. And that was like my first bout with real life. And
Yo,
I,
he gave you a loop.
yeah,
That was
I
love.
listen. I was backed into a corner. I swear, and I used that for support to come out swinging. I promise you. I was like, that was my first real bout, and I came out on top because in real estate, your experience, how you feel about it, is going to be come down to your first home. If it's a bad experience, you're probably going to get out of it. If it's a good experience, you'll continue. So that was a major uphill battle.
So what's your journey been like with being a landlord and getting into real estate? Is that something that you see yourself doing long term? Do you want to acquire more properties?
So for me, so there's two different types of real estate game. There's buy and hold and there's buy and flip.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to be a flipper. I really didn't even see how flippers make money because you have to keep reinvesting your money back into the next house. So I was like, well, when do you take the money out?
Yeah.
Shout out to all the flippers. I don't know how y'all make money, but hey, y'all must be making it.
Yo, if you a flipper and you a veteran, hit me up.
Yeah, for real. I decided to go the buy and hold route. So I never really planned to I didn't want to really own 15 different homes. Well, I did at the time, but now I don't, and I'll explain why. But my goal now is to take my two homes, the home I live in and my rental property, and I want to sell both of them and use that money to flip up into an even bigger home. So maybe like an $800,000 home. And if I can get the amount of money I want for both homes, I can essentially move my lifestyle up but keep my bills where they are.
The
And that, to
same.
me, that's the goal.
So it sounds like you don't even want to be in the real estate game anymore. Your goal is to get rid of your properties.
Yeah, I mean, real estate is a hard game.
Yeah.
It's not easy by any means. Because I tell people looking to get into real estate that don't even count your rental income as income. Like, just put it to the side because the house is going to have issues, things are going to happen, things are going to come up. You're going to need that money. There are rules that you have to, when you move people in and out, there's like certain laws, state laws that you have to abide by. And this is the stuff that people don't talk about. This is the stuff when people normally get on other platforms and they just make it seem like, I'll take this 5%, $15,000 and put it down on get a 2% interest rate. And it's like, it's unrealistic. And you're not telling people the whole story. But there's laws that you have to abide by. So for me, like the first thing I learned from my cousin actually was to do a 2-year lease and not a 1-year lease because of those laws. So let's say you're making $500 profit off of a house, and you do that for a year, but then the tenant moves out. So you did $500, so you made $6,000, but then you have to change all the carpet. You have to paint the entire house. Paint actually has a sanitation purpose. It helps sanitize the walls as well as get them back to a good color. There's
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff you have to pour money into. Not alone the money that you've been spending in the course of the year, just keeping the house going. So it's like you really kind of lose all of that money. So when you look at it, real estate buy and hold is it's the long game. It's
Yeah,
it's
most
not
definitely.
about the yeah, it's not about the month to month rent. It's about uh holding on to the investment, paying it down, or letting the tenant pay it down, getting the equity up. Hopefully your house appreciates like it's supposed to, and selling it for more than what you bought it for and taking a profit. That's really, to me, what the buy and hold game is about. Not so much like, oh, get 3 properties and then now you can take the income from those 3 properties and buy you a Range Rover. No, that's not. You're gonna get that Range Rover repossessed as soon as the house has an issue. Well, one or two of the houses have an issue that has to get fixed, and it costs thousands of dollars to get it fixed. So yeah, that's not realistic to me. So that's my goal with real estate right now.
So outside of the issue that you had with your first rental property, did that happen right before you were about to get out the military?
No, I think I was already out.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
think I was. I think I was already. No, no, I lie. I was still in. I was still in. No, no, hold on. No, I was out because I used my VA loan. So, yeah, I was already out of the military. I think I was probably getting my disability. That was probably my income at the time. Um, and as soon as I got the house, I was in it for about 10 months, and that happened, and I just felt defeated. The first time I ever felt truly defeated, but I just went back to work, got the information I needed, and it turned out good.
What was the scariest part about you exiting the military?
I'll be honest, I wasn't afraid.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't because I had already set in motion. My plan was already in motion, and so I was already putting my claims for my disability. I was just waiting on that to drop. I had already made the decision to get out because of family reasons, my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a plan, and I actually stuck to my plan. So for me, it wasn't really scary for me.
And you know what? That's why I always, kind of preach to people like, if you know the quickest way to ensure your success after getting out the military is to start establishing your plan as soon as that thought comes in your head. If you know you do not want to stay in the military, start creating the plan now. Start envisioning, start dreaming at that moment. Even if it's like you got 2 years left, you got 3 years left, go ahead and start creating in your mind the type of life that you want to live, the type of person that you want to be, the type of career you want to pursue, because without a plan, you get dependent on the paycheck sometimes, because
Mm,
it comes regardless. It comes regardless. You could wake up sick. You just say, "Hey, I'm sick." Ain't no sick leave. It's just like, okay, go home. Hey, you got SIQ for X amount of days or whatever, and we get we become dependent on it. So I I was afraid when I got out. I was a single mom. I didn't really have much except a plan. So although I was prepared, I was still scared because I'm like, crap, if this don't work, you know, we back to the block, you know. We back
yeah,
to the block. So I was definitely afraid, but um I love the fact that you said that, you had a plan, because that is super important when making such a drastic decision. And I don't mean drastic is in like a negative way, but it's definitely life changing. Deciding to get out the military is definitely,
100%.
especially before retirement. Oh, yeah, because everybody pushes you, just hold on, especially if you done did over 4 years. Like, hold on, just hold on and stay strong and stay in for another 12 years. Like, bro, do you hear yourself? Like, you're telling me, would you lay down and do a 12-year bid somewhere? And if
Yeah,
you wouldn't, like, why would you advise me of that?
yeah. It's a mountain. It's a mountain when it's in front of you, and people don't. People look at it like it's a molehill, but for us, it's a mountain. It's like just do another 15. Like 15 years, a long time.
Right. They said like it's like 15 minutes or days or even months. Like, you're telling me to do, here's a long time. You telling me to multiply that by 15 or 12 or 10? Like that's a very, very, very long time. A very long time. So,
Especially in the Navy, because I think a lot of people don't understand um, what it's like being on a ship. They think it's go out for 9 months on a deployment and then you're home. No, it's not.
mm-mm.
You're constantly out to sea. You might
Mhm.
go out for a week, come back for a week,
Mhm.
go back out for another month, come back, be home for 2 weeks, go back out for 3 months. Come.
Mhm.
I think 2 year out of 2 years, I was on land a combined total of 4 months. I spent more time on the ocean than I did on land, and it's just not. It takes a lot. It takes a different type of person to want to keep dealing with that.
Yeah. I remember we was probably on a ship at the same time, but I had bought my first car. Shout out to my Hyundai.
I remember
And
that car.
I kept that car for so long because like my first couple years, like every year I would only drive the car like 3 or 4 thousand miles for the whole year because we was always gone. We were always gone. I didn't start putting miles on my car until I moved to DC because I was back and forth all the time. But my first 5 years of having that car, 5 years of having a car, I might have put like 15 to 20 thousand miles on it in 5 years.
You know what's funny? You remember my truck, the
Yes.
Ford. You
Hmm.
don't remember the Dodge truck I had before that. See, you didn't even know I had that truck. That truck, first off, that truck was the thing that gave my credit score a amazing boost. I bought this Dodge truck for, I think it was like, I don't remember how much it was. It wasn't that much. It was like $5,000, $6,000. And no one ever saw it because it stayed in the garage because we were always gone. And then we went on deployment. And then while we was on deployment, the payments kept coming out. So it paid the truck off, which gave me a credit boost. But when I came back, the battery was dead. It was just dust all on it. People had drawn all type of stuff on the car through the dust, and I just ended up getting rid of it. And no one ever even knew I had that vehicle.
That's
Very first car I
crazy.
ever bought.
That's crazy. That's insane. But that's how much we going.
Yeah.
Like workups, it's something definitely for the mentally strong. And definitely can understand why veterans, especially Navy veterans, deal with so much like mental health stuff because it's not normal to be on the ocean for that amount of time. Like that's not normal. It's not normal
Yeah.
at all.
It's a different world. You really don't live in reality.
No, you don't. You don't. You don't. You are literally living in a whole nother dimension on that water.
Yeah.
You're literally living in a whole new world, like another world. Like the world, as soon as that pier come up, that's it. As soon as you move away from that pier, it's a whole new world.
Forget about everything that's happening on land because
You
it
got
really don't
to.
exist to you.
It
It does
does
not
not
exist.
exist. It doesn't exist. What's something that you could share with our current active duty service members and our veterans? What's up one piece of information that you could give to them that you wish you knew? Um, Either prior to joining, after getting out, about entrepreneurship. What's a gem you could drop for us right now?
Hmm. In regards to getting out, or
Whatever direction you want to go in, just give us a gem that our other veterans or brothers and sisters in arms or active duty service members could use that you wish you knew.
do not let them deter you from going to medical.
Bar.
That is probably the best advice
Bar.
I can give. That it really is. If something on you hurts, go to medical. Do not let them tell you that you're weak because of it. Don't let them tell you that it'll affect your eval if your limb do or nothing. Go to medical because you need to get everything documented. Because if you can secure even just 50% disability, you're getting a check for the rest of your life. It makes life so much easier. I think a lot of people get out and they forget they've been in for so long that they forget what the pay is like out here. And they get out and then they realize I'm not making what I want to make. And then they're trying to backtrack after 6 years and get their medical records and get them to the VA so that they can get their disability claim. Do go to medical, document everything, and get your disability. It is a major help. It's a safety net.
Yeah.
It's a safety. Like me and my wife both have disability, and it's a safety net. It's like we could have a bad financial situation, but we'll always have our house paid for. We'll always have our cars paid for
Yep.
because we're always going to get those checks
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of our lives. So no matter what, we'll always have a home, we'll always have a place to live. It is a major help, and I think they said what are we, like the 2% actually of people who actually join the military. It is less than that of people who actually get their disability when they get out.
Yo, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage of people who get out and get their disability. I mean, I guess more and more people are starting to find out about it and pick up on it, but it's so many people fighting, been out for 15 years, fighting, trying to get the disability that they weren't told about when they were in.
Yeah, and if you young and you get your disability, them older vets, they be mad at you.
Yeah,
They
they do.
be upset.
They really do. I be the young when I go to the VA. I look around. I'm like
The
the
young
youngest person in. I be like, where all these
I
old
be
people in? They like looking at me like, what is he
I'm in
doing?
workout gear.
Hey, look, I'm gonna come get this free medical. I'm not. Listen.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. Sorry. I'm here. I'm here. Okay?
Yeah, I
I'm
served.
here. Right. Honorably. I just want to thank you again for coming on the podcast and sharing your story with us and, hitting us with gems and just being vulnerable. Definitely want to take time again to give you your flowers. Thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. Congratulations. Big ups to you on all your success. Can you please let the people know where to reach you, where to follow you on social media?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I think my name is Reggie_Bands. It's a weird play on something that I've seen, but Bands is spelled BANZ, so it's REGGIE_BANZ. I think Facebook is just my name, Gregory Thompson. But yeah, definitely follow me. Then you can see it in action. See everything
Amazing.
in action. And big ups to you too. Shout out to you. Let me give you your flowers because you are doing an amazing job. You're successful. You're a 6-figure vet, and you're bringing awareness to other vets. And it's just, I think we have a good circle of friends, and it's just been an amazing ride.
Most definitely, and I'm definitely honored to be on this ride with you. So again, y'all, that's at Reggie_Bands, REGGIE_BANZ on Instagram, and Gregory Thompson on Facebook. Please, 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 if you enjoyed this episode, like, share, subscribe. We're on Apple Music, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we on your mama television coming soon, baby. All right, check us out. We're gonna have episodes dropping constantly. Follow us on Instagram at the 6-figure vet. We successfully unlacing the boots over here. All right, y'all.